Now, KOAT, Action 7 News live at 10. Breaking news is happening now.
That breaking news, a very heavy police presence has shut down part of Unser between Irving and Bandelier in northwest Albuquerque. Here's a look at the affected area you'll want to avoid.
This has been going on for just about an hour. Action 7 News reporter Matt Howerton is live with more.
Doug and Shelley, the officials from Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office aren't giving us too many details right now, but you can tell that there is a very large police presence behind me. You can see detectives and investigators are focusing on that one area at the bottom of the hill there. The county's mobile crime van is here as well. In the meantime, southbound Unser is closed from Bandelier to Irving, so if you're heading this way, you might want to take an alternate route. And when we hear more details from the Sheriff's Office about what's going on here, we'll get them to you. In Albuquerque, Matt Howerton, KOAT, Action 7 News.
A bus driver says enough is enough, pushing a man off the bus and onto the sidewalk. This exclusive new video is surprising, but wait until you hear the driver's side of the story. Action 7 News reporter Kristen Swanson is live downtown where it happened to explain.
Shelley, that man was sitting right here on the bench. He gets up as the bus starts to approach and tries to get on board. This area is really busy during the day, so there were plenty of people around to see what happened next. Action 7 News obtained this video that shows an ABQ ride driver spotting this man standing in the doorway. That's when the trouble starts.
Oh, no. No. You're not riding with me. Sit down. Over there. You're too drunk for me.
The man quickly fires back.
I'm going to tell you. I don't care what you are. I'm okay.
On the video, you can hear the driver tell the guy to get out of the way, but the man doesn't budge, so the driver gets out of his seat.
You want me to bust your hand?
Just a few seconds later, the video shows the driver shove the man out of the bus onto the ground.
Move!
When somebody is intoxicated, we don't let them ride on the bus.
But Rick Reyes with ABQ Ride says the driver didn't handle this the right way. He's been reassigned, especially because
If there's any sort of incident, anything that happens, they need to call our dispatch right away.
But that didn't happen in this case because the video shows the bus driver drive about 100 yards away to this point before he even tells anyone. Finally, the video shows the driver picking the phone up at the next stoplight and calling the incident in. While some are disturbed by what the video shows, others applaud the bus driver.
He had every right to protect the bus that he drives.
That man that got pushed, we're told, was taken to a local hospital to be checked out, but we do not know what ever happened to him. As far as the driver goes, ABQ Ride says they can't comment right now on what could happen to him. In downtown Albuquerque, Kirsten Swanson, KOAT, Action 7 News.
New at 10, police say cameras have caught the same crooks in the act again and again and again. We have now got 4 surveillance videos of the same suspects all over Albuquerque. And police tell us it's just the tip of the iceberg. Before heading out to that breaking news, Action 7 reporter Matt Howerton talked to the latest victims.
To me, it makes me angry. It makes me angry.
The Hawkins family has a hard time watching this video.
First you see it and you're just shocked because they're pulling into your driveway like they belong there. And then to see that they're actually vandalizing your stuff, it made me sick.
Albuquerque police confirm these same suspects are connected to dozens of burglaries, most with a similar MO. Detectives say they knock out surveillance cameras on one house so they can break into another one nearby. And if these guys look familiar,
That's them. We went back to check our cameras to try to figure out who took our cameras. It turns out it was the same individuals.
it's because APD says they broke into the home of mixed martial arts legend Mike Winklejohn, who trains Holly Holm, and stole some of his championship belts. We also showed you this video earlier in the week. Police say that's the same group destroying a camera at a different home in the Northeast Heights. And tonight, we got this video from another family in the South Valley.
Albuquerque police tell us they've gotten numerous tips in these cases. However, nothing solid enough to make some arrests.
For the Hawkins family,
I think it's pretty dangerous when a person is desperate. And it seems to me that the way that they're operating is out of desperation.
they hope the next time these guys show up on camera
I'm just hoping they're caught soon, honestly.
is when they're arrested. Matt Howerton, KOAT, Action 7 News.
New at 10, a woman who made a living preying on the elderly is going to prison for 28 years. You've seen Ashley Martinez in our newscast as far back as 2014. She was a scam artist who would make up stories to get into elderly people's homes. But when they tried to help her, she stole their money and credit cards. By now, some of those people have passed away. But after pleading guilty to 30 charges, the rest won't have to worry about Martinez for a long time.
A frigid night right now and a cold morning. Commuters coming. Joe's here to tell us what to expect overnight.
Live Super Doppler 7 forecast.
A 37-year-old woman is in the hospital right now with the year's first confirmed case of hantavirus, a potentially deadly disease spread through rodents. The state health department says she contracted it in Sandoval County but won't say which city. Agents will go through her home to find out how she got it and then try to prevent it from spreading. New Mexico has more hantavirus cases than any other state. In 2014, 3 people died from it.
A former Sandoval County deputy could be facing criminal charges after slapping a teenager 4 times. That's 7-year-old Fred Schweitzer. Just before this, the sheriff's office says Schweitzer and another deputy restrained the boy in the patrol car after a court appearance. There's no audio, but it appears the teenager mouths off and then spit at Schweitzer. This happened in August, and he has since been fired. Now a special prosecutor is looking at the case and will decide whether charges should be fired. He was with the sheriff's office for 8 years and is also a retired APD lieutenant.
Just a couple of hours ago, 2 basketball teams set aside their rivalry to cheer on Team Nathan. St. Pius and the opposing side, Albuquerque Academy, wore orange in support of Nathan Barcosi, who's in a coma. They also signed a banner for him. The St. Pius sophomore was hit and badly hurt while riding his bicycle last month. He's in the middle of a long recovery.
So we were like rivalries and whatnot, and we're all coming together to support someone who needs us and the prayers.
We asked why the color orange, and students told us the Denver Broncos are Nathan's favorite team.
Tomorrow, Rio Rancho will lose almost 400 jobs when the Sprint call center closes, but we have learned a new company could be moving in. Sprint said 2 weeks ago that it was laying everyone off. It was a big blow to the city, but tonight some encouraging news. Since Sprint's announcement, the city says 2 companies have toured the facility and dozens more have called to express interest. Rio Rancho will not give any more details, but leaders hope to get some new jobs there fast.
New tonight, the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office needs your help finding a man who may be using stolen credit cards. Security cameras at Target and Best Buy caught him in the act. He's described as tall and thin with a receding hairline. He was last seen wearing glasses and a black coat. Call police if you know who he is.
Many of you just watched Madoff here on KOAT, the man who scammed investors out of $65 billion. Well, some of you might remember the man known as New Mexico's Madoff, Doug Vaughn. I've been covering this story for years, and it's one of the biggest scandals here I can remember.
This is one of the few times we saw Doug Vaughn after his legal troubles exploded, pretty much hiding inside the courthouse. When we caught up with him outside, he was silent.
Nothing to say to your victims?
That was in 2012, right before Vaughn pleaded guilty to fraud for scamming his victims out of $75 million in the 1980s and 1990s. The judge who sentenced him called Vaughn the worst criminal in New Mexico history, even worse than Billy the Kid. During the years-long investigation, authorities raided Vaughn's multi-million-dollar home next to the Tanawan Country Club a few times, as you can see here from Sky 7. They even found a secret room, but no one has ever said what was inside. They also got a warrant for his real estate offices, where investigators carried out boxes and boxes of evidence, later used to put him behind bars. Vaughn is now federal inmate 60420-051. He is serving his 12-year sentence at the Federal Correctional Institute in Florence, Colorado, just 370 miles north of Albuquerque. He is now 68 years old and is set to be released on February 15th, 2023.
Right now, there are more than $4 million in a fund, most of which will go to Vaughn's victims. And keep in mind, the bankruptcy trustee is collecting more money all the time for victims and other costs.
Starting tonight, security guards will be patrolling the city's most troublesome parks after hours. The mayor announced the new security measures today, inspired by a deadly shooting at Los Altos Skate Park last March. 17-year-old Jaquise Lewis died. Another person was paralyzed. Now, 2 security guards will patrol 15 so-called trouble parks every night. They'll be armed with mace, not guns, look for criminal activity, and call police if they need to. If this idea is successful, it could spread to more parks. The city also plans to install motion-activated security cameras.
Did you know you're wasting hundreds of dollars driving on New Mexico roads because they're in pretty bad shape? TRIP, a national transportation group, says 25% of major roads in our state are in poor condition, 32% are fair. So you're spending a lot of money on wasted fuel and wear and tear in your car, about $1,700 a year in Albuquerque, just over $1,000 in Santa Fe, and $830 in Las Cruces. The group hopes it's a wake-up call for lawmakers, showing the state needs to make a bigger investment in infrastructure.
Today, a mother and father called out a powerful politician at the Roundhouse. Lily Garcia was shot and killed last year in a road rage incident. Her mother believes Senate Majority Leader Michael Sanchez essentially killed several bills that would crack down on repeat offenders, just like the man suspected of killing her daughter.
Our family has been destroyed by this individual who should have been locked up, but the system that we currently have in place has failed me and my family.
I can't help how they feel. I'm disappointed because I've had my conversations with them, and I thought they understood.
Sanchez sent the bills to multiple committees, and since the session ends in less than 2 weeks, time may run out before they can make it through the Roundhouse.
An update now on how the community is coming together to help a pregnant veteran. Last night we told you thieves stole a U-Haul filled with her possessions. Brandy Bean was discharged from the Navy and was driving home to Arizona to start her new life as a mom. But after stopping in Albuquerque, her U-Haul was stolen. Well, just minutes after our story aired, the phone calls and Facebook messages poured in. People offering to give her money, baby items, furniture. Someone even paid for her hotel room.
Like for complete strangers to offer, financial support or their very own belongings, it's just insane. I didn't expect it.
Albuquerque police say they have no suspects. Call 242-COPS if you have any information.
Addicted to gambling. And she can't stop.
It's gone from very innocent to pathological.
Hear how to spot an addict from an addict and the ways you can get them help right now.
An outdoor water park in the desert? How soon we could see one here.
And a Broncos fan scammed.
Are you being serious?
Yeah. What he was sold instead of Super Bowl tickets for $6,000.
And just minutes ago, we got an update on breaking news. Deputies say they found a teenager dead on Unser near Irving. More details next.
You're watching KOAT Action 7 News live at 10. Breaking news is happening now.
We just got a tragic update to that breaking news we brought you at the top of the show. Deputies say they found a teenager dead along Unser.
Action 7 News reporter Matt Howerton is live with these new details for us.
Yeah, Doug and Shelley, just a tragic update we just received from the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office. They tell us that around 5 o'clock this afternoon, some parents reported to them that their teenager was missing, and a couple of hours ago, they just found his body at the very bottom of that hill in an arroyo. Right now, the Sheriff's Office can't give us too many details as to maybe how the teen died. Right now, their mobile crime unit is here, and their homicide detectives are here, and they're treating his death as a homicide until they find out otherwise. The only thing else that they could tell us is that they're going to be out here for the next few hours. So southbound Unser is closed right now, and they told us that they expect it to remain closed until their investigation is over. But so far, that's all we know at the moment. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Matt, very sad tonight. Most people can walk into a casino and have a great time, but for others, it's very dangerous. We saw it recently with former Secretary of State Diana Duran.
She admitted to a gambling problem that cost her more than just her career. Target 7 investigative reporter Nancy Laughlin shows us how destructive gambling can be and how you can spot an addict.
For most people, it's something fun, enticing, entertaining.
I took $40 one day and I went to the casino and I turned it into $1,300.
But for some, it can become addicting, destructive, devastating.
I'm literally probably about 2 steps away from being homeless today.
Susan has a college degree. She was a wife, mom, and career woman. But 20 years ago, she was craving something. She says her marriage was rocky. She was bored, so she went to a casino to kill some time.
Well, that was a huge adrenaline rush.
Over time, Susan got hooked. She went back again, and again, and again.
It's gone from very innocent to pathological.
It cost her marriage, home, savings, and retirement. She began pawning things and taking out loans until she was flat broke.
I just thought, this has got to stop.
Susan is getting counseling, but every day is a challenge. Her relationship with her family now incredibly strained.
When we get a call from a person who wants help, they're really in desperate need. The finances are shot, their families are shot, their job is gone, it's sad.
Therapists who treat addicts tell us there are signs. The addict often lives in a fantasy world, telling people what they plan on doing when they win that big jackpot. Physically, they might have a lot of anxiety and depression. Some have other addictions to things like alcohol and sex.
Gamblers are kind of in a major denial, like, I don't have a problem, everybody else thinks I have a problem.
Some addicts disappear for days. There's isolation. They pull away from family, friends, and social events.
Stop doing the things that I love, like watching sports with my son, just so I could go to the casino.
Grief is often a trigger.
For them, they've stepped into the eye of a tornado, which is a lot better than the tornado, and they take an emotional break, if you will, dissociate from their terrible feelings of grief.
And it's not just casinos and racetracks that draw them in. There are other signs, too. Gamblers often check their phones and computers because they're gambling online. People who get hooked on gambling say there is a sense of shame and alienation.
I'll apologize to the people of the state of New Mexico, to my family and my friends.
Susan says she watched former Secretary of State Diana Duran's court hearing.
I cried. I felt for her.
Susan tells us she is still struggling. She believes eventually she will recover. She says if she doesn't keep reaching for help, she'll risk even more. Again, like any addiction, there are signs you can look for. Addicts often disappear for long periods of time. They often have other addictions, and along with their financial problems, they have anxiety and depression. For Target 7, I'm Nancy Laughlin.
Racetracks and casinos are required to set aside money to help gambling addicts. Last year, that totaled $2 million. Several organizations use it to provide counseling, treatment, and awareness. You can find them by opening your KOAT app.
We are following a developing story out of New York City tonight, where 2 police officers are in the hospital after being shot in the line of duty. Officials say a man shot both officers before running into an apartment where he appears to have killed himself. The department says the officers are awake and alert, and both are expected to be okay.
Just an hour ago, Democratic presidential candidates squared off in what became a surprisingly heated debate. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are typically more reserved than Republican candidates, but after a very close Iowa caucus, they are not holding back. They even fought over who is more progressive.
I really don't think these kinds of attacks by insinuation are worthy of you. And enough is enough. If you've got something to say, say it.
I mean, instead of arguing about definitions, let's talk about what we should do.
You can watch the next Republican debate here on KOAT at 6 Saturday. David Muir and Martha Raddatz are moderating.
A Colorado group says plans are moving forward to build a new water park in New Mexico. The company is called Rocky Mountain Fun Factory. Right now they're trying to figure out a location, and they're considering open land between Santa Fe down to I-40 and Albuquerque. So we asked them what we can expect.
And we want to have everything from roller coasters to water rides, mostly focusing on water rides. We're thinking it's going to be something like a Wet n Wild or close to that.
You may remember Albuquerque had an outdoor water park called The Beach. Back in 2005, it closed. This new one could open by next summer.
Now, live Super Doppler 7 weather.